Okay, perfect. Yo, what's up, everybody? Office Hours episode 23. I'm Big Sto,
I'm Nora.
and we appreciate everyone coming through. Um, if you want to check the description link down below, obviously it explains the episode, but we also have a Cash App link down there. If you find any of this information useful, and you want to help us out, just toss a few dollars or $1 billion. That's helpful as well. Today we're going to be talking about Instagram, which I have a love-hate relationship with Instagram, but to be completely honest, Nora is the one who kind of motivated me to actually take it at least somewhat seriously. But yeah, Nora, what's your take on Instagram?
So
not take, but you know what I mean.
I'll preface today's conversation by saying that you don't have to be on all the social media platforms. So you can pick and choose where you're comfortable, where you want to be, where your audience is. And also, it's perfectly okay to use some platforms just for fun and to use some platforms for other things. You don't have to be everything on everywhere all at once. And so if Instagram isn't for you, or it stresses you out, or you just want to look at cute puppy pictures, that's perfectly okay too. Hopefully what we'll give you today is some tips to maybe just get you started if Instagram is a platform that you want to play with. And I will say that some of the things that, we're talking specifically about Instagram today, but some of the broad ideas you can apply to other platforms, and some of the things that we're talking about will be applicable to other things. We do also have another Instagram episode that covers, today we're going to focus kind of specifically on content and curating your page and like the actual posts. And we have another conversation about Instagram. I think it's episode like 3 or 4. I don't remember. It was like one of our earlier episodes. Episode 7. So if you want to go back and look at that, there's some information there too. So yeah, welcome to Office Hours. We're here to help you. If you have any questions, drop it in the chat or drop it in the comments below. And if any of this is valuable, subscribe. If you don't want to donate, subscribe. One or the other, or both. We appreciate it anyway, because Sto and I do this for love, and because we really want to see artists succeed. So yeah, so let's jump into it. And kind of, so as I said, we're going to focus today on kind of the page and content. What do you think makes for a good Instagram page?
So I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot of different things I feel like people can do with Instagram. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm a pro. I'm still even just trying to get into the habit of posting consistently. But at least for me, a good IG page kind of forces you to engage, I guess. It's not just like, and I think we talk about this a lot, is like social media in a lot of cases, it's like a commercial, and people are scrolling through, and you want something that makes you stop. And then, I feel like if the caption is good and whatnot, you can get some of that engagement. So obviously an enticing visual picture, whatever. There's a lot of different ways to make your visual, like, I guess, more appealing, I guess, to the eye, the scrolling eye or whatever. We can talk about that later. But then I genuinely believe like the meat and potatoes of the post is in the caption.
Can I pause you for just a second? Just because before we even get to the caption, right? Because when someone, you meet someone at a networking event, or you're on Clubhouse and they look at your Instagram, the first thing that they see before they even click on an individual post is going to be your profile.
Oh yeah, I didn't even think about the bio. I completely forgot.
And so, and so even before I click on a picture to get to the caption, right? There's a first impression that comes across when you look at someone's profile picture, you look at their bio, you look at their highlights, you look at, the first 3, 6, 9 posts that are going. And so really thinking about, you're making a first impression. And so maybe that's the question, is like, how do you make a good first impression with an Instagram page that will make someone want to follow you, want to turn on your notifications, so that then it does get to the point where they're looking at your posts and reading your captions and scrolling through your story or whatever it might be.
Right, right. And so honestly, like, I'm going to talk about the bio here in a second, but I know for a fact I haven't changed mine in a million years. So I do feel like that's important because it allows people to immediately know who you are, what you're about, and whatnot. And then honestly, the main link is important. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a website. Mine isn't, but get a damn website, of course. You already know what it is. But that main link is also how people are able to follow up with you if they find the content appealing and stuff like that. And sometimes they may just click it just because it's your main link. And then from there, having your highlights, I guess, organized, it actually is very important, because I have seen people have just hundreds of different tabs, and it's like, I don't even know what I'm looking at. So having those organized and clearly labeled so that people know what they're diving into in each highlight. Again, it really comes down to like easy accessibility. If I head to your Instagram page, I should be able to easily figure out who you are, what you're about, and what you're offering, I guess, is really the bigger thing, because I'm thinking as a newcomer, like even if it's regardless of what it is, if I heard you on a podcast or an interview, or I heard your song for the first time or whatever, or even maybe I was on Twitter and you said, go follow me on Instagram. So if I hop over and I can't easily figure out like what you're about and what you're doing, I'm just going to dip. And that's how most fans think.
Yeah. So I think the bio is really important, because you have just a few words, but those few words should tell me really clearly who you are, what you do, and what makes you different. Right. So a lot of folks, I look at their bios and it says rapper, you and a million other people, right? Or producer. Yeah. You and a million other people. Right. And so your bio in those few lines is a chance to differentiate yourself. And so that's really important. You talked about the highlights, and that's a quick way for me as a new person to get a sense of who you are and what you do. And then the next thing that people look at are your first 6-9 posts. And even before clicking, you look at that and it gives you a lot of information. So I'm looking for what kind of content is on here. If all I see are flyers, I know that you're going to just try to sell things to me. I don't want to watch a commercial all day. So that's an opportunity lost. If I see a lot of memes or like jokey posts or things like that, I'm like, okay, or let me say, like, if I see that you're like repurposing a lot of other people's content.
Yeah.
So nothing wrong with memes, nothing wrong with jokes, but if they're not yours, or you're copying other people's content or something like that, it doesn't give me any information about you. And so I'm much more likely to go to the source of those things. So that's an opportunity lost. So, and then I look, so the type of content you're posting, what does it visually look like? Do they look like you put thought into your posts, or is it just a bunch of haphazard, random things? So you want to, even though you're posting individually one by one, you want to take a step back and look at what is the feel and the look of your page, and what's the kind of message that it communicates, right? And this is where your branding can come in, your color scheme can come in. You can think about different types of posts and how they kind of fit together in a jigsaw puzzle. But those are all things, elements that make for an interesting or a good Instagram page. Is when I look at it and I say, okay, you put time and effort into it. So there's value in me following you, because I know that I'm going to get high quality, consistent content. And it's interesting to look at. It's not salesy, and I understand what the value is. So sometimes this is something I see artists do a lot. You have a ton of black screens with a little play arrow. Doesn't give me any information. So that's not going to make me want to click.
Right.
You really want to think about how you can communicate your uniqueness, whatever makes you different and cool and great and wonderful, but also your value in a cohesive way. I think we were talking the other day, Sto, and you were like, it shouldn't be a billboard. And that's
Right.
if I know that you're going to advertise to me all the time, you're going to lose me. But if I know that you're going to tell me stories and show me behind the scenes and there's a personal connection, that's going to make for a really good, that's going to be the thing that's going to make me want to follow you and, continue to engage. So really thinking about, yes, we're going to talk about like individual content, but looking at how those pieces kind of weave together.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way that you're going to make the first impression, is how all the pieces come together to form the whole.
Exactly. Hold on, make sure I get this question right. So the one thing that I wanted to stress, I guess, in this episode is that, Instagram, while obviously it has made a bunch of changes and it has shifted over and stuff like that, I guess my whole end message like with this is Instagram can be a platform where you can grow a community and you can grow your audience in a genuine way. It doesn't just have to be, like even myself, actually, I'll use myself as an example. Like even I was like, dang, like what in the world is the point of really using Instagram? Like it's just another platform. But once you use it differently, I guess, then some of your peers and people that you're consuming and stuff like that, and friends and stuff like that, it really can be purposed into growing your brand and audience. Especially over this last year, like I really started kind of posting what I'm already saying on Twitter over on Instagram, and it's not like anything crazy, but I am getting more engagement and more comments and stuff like that. So I do want you all to think beyond the, yo, did you listen to my single yet? Or, yo, like, here's it. Like, again, we don't want it to be a billboard. In terms of fostering community, I think it really just comes down to making, and Nora already brought this up in the beginning, or just a few minutes ago, is like, it's about showing who you are. Regardless of what you're doing, if you're creating content, show and that's the other thing, show who you are outside of whatever it is your job is or whatever it is that you're pursuing. Like I tell artists all the time, like it doesn't all have to be about the music. Like, yes, show those studio sessions. Yes, show clips from the music video. But it's okay to show yourself just chilling in the house, reading a book or something like that, if that's what you're into.
So I actually use you as an example for this.
Oh no!
Because what I tell my clients is, in addition to the music, there should be 2 or 3 other things that you talk about that make you an interesting person, that make you more than just this like one-dimensional artist. And so I talk about you because in addition to the music, you talk about video games.
Oh, right.
And you talk about your music and your projects, you give valuable information, and then you talk about like video games and you talk about sports and things like that. And so if I'm not into the music, I'm in it for the video games. If I'm not in for the video games, I'm in it for the NBA talk. If I, and so your page should reflect all the fullness of your personality. And this is what it means to like communicate your brand is, right. In addition to being a musician, what do you care about? What are you interested in? What are you passionate about? What reflects you? And then talk about those things as well. Because if every day, all I hear from you is music, 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 I'm going to be like, damn, again. Like if your friend only talked to you about one thing, you'd be like, bro, I'm tired of this topic. Can we talk about something else, right? Or if you watch the same show every day, you'd be like, can we change the channel? And so this is a way to, talking about different things is a way to diversify your content, but it's also, it creates a new interaction point for your audience. They might not know about the music. They might not be invested in the music yet, but they want to talk about sneakers with you, or they're down to debate, who's going to go to the NBA finals or that UFC fight or the video or whatever, right? Like all the different things. create an opportunity for connection and interaction with your audience. And so those are and then down the line, that's also how you can build brand partnerships, sponsors, endorsements, like all of that comes from, yeah, your music is cool, but what do you represent? And so your Instagram is one way to tell those stories. And so in terms of, sorry, so I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Because I do use you as an example. I just want to make sure you had finished your thought before I continue.
No, you're totally fine.
Okay. So in terms of, so if the question is like, how can you use Instagram to build community, right? And I'm sure as I say this, you'll think about examples. There are posts that just talk at you, right? First of all, there's posts that don't really say anything.
Right.
There's just like emojis or, some like vague, like fire, working, right. It was lit, right? Whatever, all that kind of stuff. Which as an audience member, you're like, okay, what invitation does that give me to engage with you? It doesn't much, right? And so then you want to think about what are posts, and then there are posts that are just selling, right? That are saying like, do this thing, do this thing, and do this thing. And I'm like, all right. So you want to think about how you can bring your audience in so that they want to talk back to you, right? How can you use Instagram as a way to create a conversation? And that happens through, we already talked about like interesting visuals, but really your caption is like a second canvas.
Yep.
Right? You have the visual, but you have all that space to tell a story, to ask a question, to share something interesting or personal, or to put context to the image that they're seeing. And so your caption is one way that you can really start to build engagement. Don't be afraid to go a little bit longer. I see sometimes people put like 4 words, and I know that there's I don't know, like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a fear, right? That people aren't going to read long captions. If you tell them a good story, they will. Right. And you want to make sure that it's like punctuated and like all of that stuff, right? So that it's easy to read, but you'll train your audience in the kind of content to expect from you. And so make sure that you're writing what I call juicy captions. And then that as people talk to you, anybody who comments should get a response.
Right.
So that's one way. The other way is to use your stories. And Instagram has a ton of interactive tools. You can do polls, you can ask questions, you can go live. Really use your stories to invite your audience in to participate with you. Use your DMs, and not to just, okay, let me say this really, really clearly. Do not use your DMs to randomly spam people. And some of you think you're being really, really slick because you'll like say some things. Hey, I really like what you do. Here's my song. Tell me what you think.
Right.
Let's work. And I know you're sending that to 25 other people. And I know that you haven't actually said anything specific or clear. So that's not engagement. But when you do have fans who are interacting with you, or you do have collaborators, other artists, use your DMs to say, yo, thank you. I recognize you. I see you. Thank you. Right? That's one way to build engagement. So you have your captions, you have your comments, you have your stories and all the tools it provides there. You have lives, you have reels, you have your DMs. The other thing is you cannot just passively post and wait for people to come to you. Part of being in a community is contributing. And so this is the part where you get to go and support other people, and you get to go and comment on other people, and you get to go and respond to other people's stories, and you get to go look through hashtags that are relevant to you and see who else in that community is saying. So part of the engagement piece is contributing as much as you're asking. So it's not enough to just post and be like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to put my phone away. If you're building Instagram as a platform, you also want to, look at your top 10, and Instagram will tell you who you haven't interacted with in a while, who your frequent interactions are with. Go and check, don't just wait for what the algorithm gives you. Go and check those people's pages and leave some
Right.
comments. And so you have to be really, really proactive in building a community so that then those people remember you, you stand out, they come find you, right? It's the relationships are all about give and take. And so make sure you're creating opportunities for your audience to give to you, but also that you're supporting them in all these different ways. Just real quickly, I want to welcome everyone who's joining us. Today, Sto and I are talking about content for Instagram. If you have questions or your own feedback, please feel free to drop those in the chat, or if you're watching this after the fact, in the comments below. We'll always come back and answer them. If you find any of this valuable, please subscribe. We really appreciate the support, like the video, all that good stuff. And most of you know Sto and I do this out of love and appreciation because we want to see artists shine. But if you can or would like to, we would very much appreciate like tips and donations. So all that information is in the description in the bottom. If you want to show us a little bit of love and appreciation. Yeah, any other thoughts, so on your end about the engagement piece?
Yeah, just, I just want to go back on the caption thing real quick, just because it took me a minute to even understand that. And listen, folks, like even now, like I will sit down at a blank Word document and type out my caption before posting. It's just easier to get like all of that written out. But as long as the caption is engaging, like people will, and you're offering something, people will comment back. And, again, when you make supporters and fans and whatnot feel wanted, they're going to give that back to you. Again, Instagram really does have so many different like tools that you can use to really foster that community. It really is about using it and taking the time to use it. I talk about artists specifically because you all are the ones that I usually see that are just like post and go, just post a random selfie. Yo, you check out my song yet? Like, no, I didn't, because I don't know there's not even any context in the caption to let me know what the song's even about. Add that context. You can even, and this is the other part that I wanted to mention, is like almost anything that you are creating, like, you can turn that into an Instagram post. It doesn't just have to be this wall of, yo, stream my song. Yo, this song's dropping soon. Yo, get ready because it's coming. Like, you can bring your audience into the process. If you have a show or something like that, guess what? There's people in 49 other states that didn't get a chance to see it. So put up a clip put up the best clip from the show or something like that. If you do an interview or on a podcast, clip that shit. You can use that to get people forever. It's evergreen content. It's not something that, like, I guess that's the other thing I'm going to mention as well, is that it doesn't, like, yes, I understand having the whole timeline thing. It has to be in order, but if you did an interview 6 months or a year ago, you can bring back a clip from that interview, from that show. You've gained fans since then who have no idea that you did all of this stuff. You have to inform them. I feel like I keep harping back on the, people don't just want to be advertised to. I'm seeing too many artists now just not even wanting to engage. They just want someone to just press play. And I kind of get that, I guess, but I've always thought that we were all in this to build something more serious, to build something tangible, to build something where if I run into you, I can be like, dang, like I actually kind of know you because we've built this community, we've built this connection, we've built this relationship or whatever. But you have to use your platforms in that way. If people just think that you're just using them to run up the numbers, they're gonna bounce. They're not gonna care. Like, they'll follow you, but they're not gonna say anything to you or engage with the content that you're creating. And I feel like that's the end goal, right?
So I think this brings up a good thing, because we have some content ideas that we want to share, but I just want to acknowledge, like, it can be stressful to think about, what am I going to post? Okay, now I
Absolutely.
gotta like get the visuals. Now I gotta post. Now I gotta be on my phone. And like, we're in a pandemic. People are doing so many things. And so it really helps. And if all you can do is just post when you think about it, that's totally fine. Like,
Right.
if you look at my Instagram, for a long time, I just took my tweets and posted screenshots of my tweets, because tweeting is so easy for me and Instagram stresses me out so much. So like, start where you are.
I'm still
And
doing that.
right, like, start where you are and start with what's easy, and allow yourself that space to grow. So if even this is like too overwhelming, don't stress it, right? The idea is to just get started and things will get better. One thing that's really helpful is to create some kind of system for yourself that will allow you to organize, like, what am I posting? When am I posting? What's the caption going to be? Have a set of hashtags ready that you can just copy and paste and tweak accordingly. So just to give you some like tools, Canva has a scheduler you can use. So does Plannerly. So does, what's the other one I'm thinking of?
I think Buffer has one.
Buffer, yes, Buffer is the other one. Buffer has one. So there are a ton of platforms you could use where you can spend a Tuesday afternoon, schedule a couple posts, and then not really think about it. If that's too complicated for you, you can create a spreadsheet, and just write out your captions in advance and write down even your ideas for content in advance. So planning some of this in advance takes the pressure of, oh my God, I haven't posted in 3 weeks. What should I post? Right. What should I think about? Especially because if you're like me, ideas come at the strangest times. And I'm like, dang, if I don't put this into a note on my phone right now, I'm totally going to forget about it. So right. That helps. And that also helps think about how you're going to curate your page and what it's going to look like and feel like, because now you have all the pieces and you can decide how they come together. So you mentioned some like content ideas, and maybe we can spend the next couple minutes throwing out some ideas. And for those, again, those of you who are with us, if you have content ideas that really work for you, share those as well. I want to stress, like, you can always recycle stuff.
Right.
Like, take an old post, archive it, repost it. Like, that's totally fine, because no one remembers what you shared 3 years ago, 5 years ago. A couple of things that I really like is for folks who do like interviews or things like that, Headliner is a really great tool. It lets you put video to audio. And so you can post that really easily. It's like a snippet of something that you said, or you can get really creative with like a snippet of your song with an interesting like audiogram to go with it. And so ways that bring audio and video together makes for really good content. You can take your song and put it to like a video game overlay or cartoons or your dog taking a nap and you have like
right.
or whatever, right? Like thinking, and this is a great place to think about, what is your audience interested in? So you give them a visual that appeals to them and then put your music over it and then tell them a little story in the caption. So those kinds of snippets are really good. There is absolutely no shame in quoting yourself. Some of you have bars, are great lyricists, but I'm not going to listen to a whole song because you haven't earned that yet. I don't know you well enough. But if you make a cute little graphic, Canva has like pre-made templates, super easy, with some of your favorite lyrics that you've written, right? Some of your own bars, and then tell me what song it's from, and then make sure you at yourself so that you are giving yourself credit. I'm going to read that. I'm going to be like, oh, this is interesting. This is intriguing. And then I'm going to want to go hear the whole song. So quoting yourself. Sometimes I think we say behind the scenes, but what does that look like? Especially during a pandemic when so many of us are at home behind the computer. Behind the scenes can be like, here's me working at my computer. Behind the scenes can be, here's a screenshot of me and Sto during our meeting today. You all get to see what our Zoom calls look like. Behind the scenes can be like, look, I'm making dinner. Here's my favorite meal. And tell me a story about what the food means to you.
Right.
behind the scenes can be, you know, I'm Persian. I share a lot about Persian culture and like things that mean something to me. It gives people a way to get to know me. What are some other ideas though in terms of content for people?
Yeah, I just want to go back to the gaming one. It's so easy to do, people. So many of you are playing NBA 2K. So many of you are playing Call of Duty or whatever. Like that covers so much of a wide base of people. All you have to do, turn down the music volume, insert your song. That's it. You know, I don't know if he got it from me, but the homie Monday Night from Mutant Academy, he does this all the time, and he's actually garnered a following from it. He'll post an incredible clip of him doing some stuff in Call of Duty and just put his music right over it. Boom. It's so easy. Definitely try that. In terms of behind the scenes content, I mean, Nora nailed it. My thing is, you know, of course, don't be the person who's taking all these photos in the studio, like a billion photos. No one wants that. Obviously you're trying to work, but like you can grab a couple well-placed, like not professional, but you know, not messing up the vibe photos and stuff like that. Just to show people what you're working on, who you're working with, et cetera, et cetera. Like Nora said, your work setup. That's the post that I'm going to do here in a few days is just how like just unorganized and just pandemonium things are just as of late. And the other thing is just anything. If you're you know, if you're taking your dog for a walk, it's okay to take a picture of that. If you're cooling for the night and you're just listening to some records like that, I'll do that too. I'll take pictures of records. That's a good one. Honestly, just it's okay to take the things that you like and talk about that on social media. It genuinely is what is going to get other people to be like, oh, dang, I didn't even realize they were into that. I like to use this one I use Megan as an example all the time, and what better time? But like the minute that she started talking about anime and stuff like that, people were like, whoa, like what's going on here? Now, obviously, it's not that big of a deal, but still, it's just the fact that she garnered that reaction, I guess. And is able to connect with her fans over that, whether she's talking about the shows, whether she's talking about the actual comics, like it builds that connection. It's not just, yo, listen to this, listen to that, listen to this, listen to that. They're talking about other things. They're discussing other things. They're asking questions. That's one of my favorite things. Even on Instagram, I used to think that I was like, why would anyone ask a question on Instagram? Like that doesn't make any sense. But it does, because people will respond. People always, you know, they want that engagement. They want to express their opinion. If you're staying in late or something like that, it's okay to be like, yo, what are you guys up to tonight? What are you listening to? What are you reading? What are you watching? I need suggestions. You know what I mean? There's so many things that you can do to get your fans and supporters involved. And I say this all the time, because then down the line, 5-6 months from now, when you're getting ready to drop your album, your book, your recipe, whatever it is, people are going to remember the interaction and the feeling that you gave them, even if it's just through social media. Again, some of you are watching us because we built that connection. You know what I mean? It's not just both of us promoting, you know, I'm the get a website guy, but obviously I bring more to the table than that. And some of you have noticed that. So it's okay to show your personality. It's okay to show what you do outside of this. It's what connects us all together. It's okay to talk about your struggle. You know what I mean? And all this as well.
So, I mean, we say this a lot, is to show your process.
Right.
Like if you just give me the final product, I'm like, all right, that's cool. But if you've shown me all the blood, sweat, and tears that went into it, now I'm invested in that. And so a lot of you, what I'm saying is you'll give me a final music video. But what you can really do is take that one asset and break it down into a million different pieces. So it's talk about the costumes. You can talk about highlight your editor, your videographer, you know, whoever you collaborated with. You can show me one snippet. You know, I don't have to see a full 5-minute video. Show me seconds of this piece and tell me that story. Show me 30 seconds of that piece and tell me that story. Let me see you mess up.
Right.
So there's something so, you know, we all love bloopers, not because we want to laugh at people, but because it makes you human and real and accessible. And
Exactly.
it's, you know, so like all those little pieces, people love to see people laugh and have fun. Like, let's see those outtakes.
Yep.
So you can take this one video and break it down into a million different parts. Same with album cover. You can show me the final piece, or you can show me maybe
Piece
you have
by piece.
exactly, right? Or you have two versions and you put it in your story and you do a poll and you say, which one looks better? Which colorway should we go with? And so it's also a great way, as you are telling the story, you're breaking down the bits and pieces. So people, because look, there's so much I think as creatives that we take for granted that most people don't know actually goes into the process.
Right.
So the more you can make that visible, the more people feel like they're getting a glimpse behind the curtain, right? They get to see something that they've never seen before, understand something they never understood before. It's not as like, oh yeah, everybody knows. A lot of people have never been on a video shoot. So like, give them that backstage tour, show them what that looks like. And so where was I going with this? Oh, the interaction piece that you can, this is where I was going with this. That in inviting your audience to participate, right? It's also a great way to get information from them. Right? Now you can make hey, do you like, if you're designing merch, for example, which colorway do you prefer? This one or this one? And now they're voting and they're giving you feedback so you can make an informed decision about what merch you put out, right? Exactly. Do you want hoodies or crew necks? Do you want high tops or low tops? Whatever, right? And so part of when you're creating content and including your audience in the process and soliciting their feedback, you can make informed choices that then give them what they want. Not that you have to curate everything specifically for them, but when people feel like they have a voice in what's happening, they're so much more invested in it. I just realized this has been a long episode.
Right.
Because there's so much to talk about.
Right. Exactly.
Reporting from 20XX says, can definitely say it's a nice way to interact through streaming. I use Twitch, not just as a momentary getaway, but also to show myself on an outlet that I don't otherwise do, and also promote music that way. Yeah, as people get to know you, they see you with your guard down, really. Right? They see you with your guard down, and they're like, oh, you're kind of cool. Oh, I like you. Oh, you're relatable. I would hang out with you. And then that's the thing that makes them want to support your music. So with Instagram, really think about what try to break down your content into smaller pieces so that people can digest it more easily. If you can, plan and schedule ahead so that you don't have to stress about it so much. Really focus on the engagement and how you're showing up and inviting people to communicate with you. And think about what your kind of big first impression on your page is. So yeah, long episode today. As I said, we have another Instagram episode. If you go back, I think we said it was like episode 7. So hopefully this gives you a little bit of context. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like the page. If you have questions or anything, please reach out to me and Sto. Any final words, Sto, before we wrap today?
I just want to stress with all these different social media platforms, it really can get stressful trying to manage it all. So it's okay to ease yourself into it. Like I said, even with some of my platforms, like I'm still easing myself into it. So you don't have to be constantly every day, obsessing over it. It's okay to take it a step at a time.
Yeah. Pace yourself. And you don't have to post every day. Just pace yourself. And if you're consistent, then people will come. So y'all take care of yourselves. Sto and I are here every first and third Tuesday of the month. Thank you for all the love and support for office hours, and we'll see you next time.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Peace.